In today's episode of Marketplace Finds, we have a Rolls-Royce military vehicle, a rocket motorbike, and a cursed horse cart. I don't think we've seen a vehicle that would end your life any faster than this. What I can only assume is a homemade gyrocopter. Not even looking at the post details, just the surroundings with the trash, junk and scrap. I think you'd have to have a death wish to trust this. It was built in 2005 and utilizes a Subaru EJ22, which even those aren't known to be the most reliable engines. The interior looks equally as sketchy as the exterior, with what looks like many parts picked up from a Home Depot just down the road. It can be yours for $8,500, so it's fairly expensive. However, it might make for a great gift for your annoying mother-in-law. Next up is what looks to be an early 2000s Mercedes-Benz that has undergone some insane modifications alongside an odd photo shoot. Starting with the engine, we can see the seller has added what can only be described as some sort of nightmarish Mad Max turbo setup, sitting out the hood that they claim runs perfectly fine, whilst also saying that it needs a tune. Not only that, but as you can see, they have done the classic move of partially cutting the roof off for whatever reason, and even cutting the top half of the steering wheel off. But moving on from that is probably the weirdest photo shoot I have ever seen, as what I can only assume is a failed OF model's rock bottom, posing awkwardly all over the car. Some of which show off the extreme craftsmanship this car has undergone, like these amazing bed hinges. The owner is after $5,000, which is absolutely insane. And they had to update the listing to say no, the girl doesn't come with the car, which makes it even more overpriced. Do you know what vehicle represents the spirit of the good old Dukes of Hazzard's General Lee? Not this one, because the closest thing this 2010 Honda Accord has on the classic Dodge Charger is having the same amount of wheels. I mean, come on, a Japanese front-wheel drive economy car painted like this should be a crime. On top of that, the car has a huge 240,000 miles, so maybe it's time to jump off a ramp into a wall instead. To be fair, they are only after $2,800, so it's not a terrible price for a reliable car. This awesome motorcycle is a 1986 Pulse autocycle designed and manufactured by Owasso Motor Car Company in Michigan back in the 80s, styled to look like a mini fighter jet on wheels, but unfortunately they don't fly, reaching a maximum speed of around 100 miles per hour. They're extremely rare these days, with only around 300 to 350 being made, and a lot like this one need a restoration to get them back driving on the road. The fresh paint job and brand new interior looks amazing and seems to be done at an extremely high quality level. If you ever wanted to grab the whole car show's attention, this is certainly a vehicle that would do it. The seller is after $37,000 or best offer, and honestly, I have no idea how much these go for, so feel free to let me know in the comments below, but considering the rarity and restoration costs, it seems like a good price. Next up, we have a questionably painted Subaru WRX that has been painted by who could only be described as the reincarnation of Michelangelo. The front end appears to have a rock sitting in the ocean, and on it is Sir WRX, which if that isn't cringe enough for you, take a look at the rest of the car. That's right, this bad boy is covered in not one, not two, but 3 lion pictures, so you know the driver's a badass with extremely poor financial decisions or something. And if you thought the exterior was bad, just have a look at this hideous interior. It keeps the same orange color, with basically every single interior piece being painted, and these odd yet comfortable looking seats. The star of the show, however, is in the rear seats, where we have a very suspicious looking hole that got quite a few people laughing at the post for very obvious reasons. All I know is that I would not want to shine a black light back there. Unfortunately, there's no price on this gem, as a car wreckers bought it and we're looking for offers on it. Just when I thought PT Cruisers couldn't get any uglier, we've got this horrific looking trailer converted one. The owner claims they didn't build it, and hell, I'd be saying that too just to save myself from getting roasted. Apparently the wooden window and ceiling is watertight, but I'm not sure how much I trust that. The seller used it to transport their dogs, which is honestly a great idea, so if you're wanting the world's ugliest dog transporter, it can be yours for only $600. We've seen a fair few lifted smart for 2 smart cars, but never have I seen a wide body and Lambo doored one before, because nothing says smart like buying a smart car to save fuel, only to spend thousands of dollars on a body kit and stupid lifting doors. It's a 2009 model, which the owner states it's been in the family since 2010, and that whoever had it in 2009 made it into the show car you see here. And look, I know we all have different opinions on cars, but really? You're telling me this thing was a show car? It was listed up for $5,000, but has insanely already sold within the week.
Give me a hell yeah!
Watch out guys, we've got a badass over here, driving a 2005 Dodge Ram that is completely covered in skulls and the Grim Reaper. It's not just a truck, it's a midlife crisis with a lift kit, and you've got to show people you mean business after your wife recently filed for divorce, but you'd rather spend money on your truck than go to therapy. The epic skull theme continues on into the interior, with the door panels and roof liner even being painted, so they have gone all out. It's got the classic speaker set up in the back so you can jam create at max volume, but joking aside, it does have some good mods on it. The owner says it's got front and rear diff locks, new suspension, a rebuilt engine and transmission, all for $10,000. So if all those mods are true, it isn't too far off being a good price. Not your typical lifted vehicle, we have this 2004 Nissan Sentra that is sitting on a lifted 1988 GMC 1500 frame. If it looks like it needs some work to be done, you'd be right, as it basically looks like it just came out of a junkyard with miscellaneous parts sitting both on the outside and inside. In the engine bay, we have a 305 V8 that is missing the rocker covers, which is not a great sign, along with some big rust holes for extra airflow. Now you might think the price of this would be cheap considering the sorry state it's in. Well, I want you to take a guess at how much the owner is after. If you guessed around $5,500, you'd be correct, but also insane, as that is far too much, especially with how much work it needs done. The brand Rolls-Royce is known for creating some of the most luxurious, highest quality and smoothest cars in the world, but a lot of people don't know the long history of the brand has in helping make military vehicles. This is a 1956 Daimler Ferret Mark I, and they were used as small, armoured reconnaissance vehicles, being sleek and surprisingly fast for an armoured vehicle. They were powered by the Rolls-Royce B60 engines, making about 130 horsepower while weighing around 3.5 tonne, which sounds terrible, but back in the 50s was good for an armoured vehicle. This one seems to be in amazing condition and still runs and drives well. A lot of them are still road legal today and can be found throughout the world, as over 30 countries imported them. The owner is after $37,000, which I unfortunately don't know if it's a good price or not, so please let me know. I think we just found what might be the most haunted ever listing we've seen, being this homemade horse go-kart. Powered by a 200cc engine, this horror horse has plenty of get up, but it reportedly needs the carb to be cleaned to free all the ponies. My main questions about this post is, why are all the photos taken from the back of the horse and none of the front? Why are they taken at night? But the biggest question of all is, why the hell does this horse have shoes on its back feet? It's listed up for $450, so only buy it if you're wanting to be haunted and start your own paranormal YouTube channel. This next seller seems to have more enthusiasm than brains claiming this golf cart is a chick magnet that could land you a wife or husband. Yeah, it looks like it sat outside for the last 20 years, and no, it doesn't run. But according to the owner, if you put some work and effort into it, you'll get all the chicks. They even say all it needs is a new top and a sweet flame paint job for this bad boy, and you'll be in business. Now look, I don't live in one of those golf cart neighborhoods, but the only chicks you'll be picking up in this will have to be above the age of 70, because anyone with half decent eyesight will probably be calling the cops on you if you're trying to pick them up in it. Even the batteries and charger look like they were made sometime shortly after World War II. It is listed up for only $500, which is still expensive, but at least the seller's not fully crazy. Quite possibly my favourite find of this episode is this replica car of the Dumb and Dumber dog car, as it's one of my favourite movies. I know the photos aren't that great, and it's not fully accurate to the movie, but it still looks hilarious and must get so many funny reactions. It was built on a 2001 Ford Econoline that has had the interior gutted and is listed up for $3,000, which I can honestly say I'd buy if it was located near me. From the first pictures, you'd assume this is just a nice looking Honda Goldwing and sidecar with a vibrant paint job. However, it wouldn't be in this video if there wasn't something odd going on. As we have these, what I can only imagine is an acid trip inspired paintings cover the bike. I don't really know how to describe the artworks, but as you can see, it has some sort of new planet space theme going on, and I love the extra detail of the dogs with the jetpacks. In all honesty, the artwork looks really great, and you can tell a lot of time and effort has gone into them just with an interesting theme. They're after $12,000, and I don't think they'll get that much, being quite an older model of Goldwing. As we have no K cars in this episode, I thought I'd include this old classic microcar. It's a 1953 Charles Mochet deluxe, and they were made in France, of which only 1,250 were ever made. They had a 125cc 2-stroke engine. They make a whopping 3.5 horsepower. Yes, you heard that right, 3.5 horsepower. As you can see, this one has undergone a restoration and still has the original engine and transmission alongside the title, which adds a lot of value. They are looking for $28,000, so I'm sure a collector will be eyeing it up. In all honesty, when these things popped up on my marketplace feed, I had no idea what they were. If you're a bit of a World War II history buff, you'll recognize these as 1945 GMC DU-KWs. They were made in America, and as you can tell, were 6-wheel drive amphibious vehicles used to carry troops and supplies, and were even used to storm the beaches on D-Day. They could drive up to around 55 miles per hour on land and 5.5 knots per hour when on the water. These ones are being sold by a museum, and unfortunately both have seen better days, as both no longer float and one is not running at all. The green one seems to be more put together, and you could easily combine parts from both to have an awesome garage piece. The museum is after $35,000 for both, and I have no idea what they're typically worth, but I'm sure a World War II collector will be looking to add them to their collection. Thanks for watching another episode of Garage Gold. I hope you enjoyed. Our channel just got monetized, so thank you very much for all the support. If you want to help us out even more, then please hit the subscribe button. Also, if you find a funny or interesting car, then you can send it to us on Instagram or at our Gmail. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next episode.